Indigenous people in Australia, we're 3% of the total Australian population, but of that 3%, the last statistics reveal that at least 50% of that population, of that 3%, is affected in some form of disability. So it's very high numbers for our people.
In 1950s, there was a British government and Australian government made agreement to have a bomb testing in Australia. They're not far from here, and I was only a little kid. They were working there testing bombs, and the first one that let it go was called Totem 1. We heard it here loud and clear and feel the ground shook. We seen radiation full out over our camp. It was moving very quietly and very deadly. After that I went blind on the right eye straight away, and on the left I had some sight left.
I went forward to check this place out, and when I was moving forward I tripped a mine and it blew my leg off. If you're the leader of the push, if you go down, if things don't work properly, you will all go down, you will all end up dead. That's what you've got to do. Yeah. You're no good till I'm dead. Yeah. You're no good till I'm dead. But, that's it. It's a fact of life. As I said, life's a death sentence, numerous reprieves, make the best of it.
Yeah, I'm the mother of a 2-year-old boy with achondroplasia, which is the most common form of dwarfism. Not knowing anything about it was the scariest part. Nothing can ever prepare you for, the doctor saying there's something wrong with your child. So from that day on, our lives have never been the same. And now it's just joy. He's been born into the best family, and he has, No one looks at him differently. He's treated the same, he gets disciplined the same. It just makes me happy just thinking about him,
When the elders in Bankstown were made aware of the basic card coming here, we wanted to know if there was going to be any consultation or if they were enforcing it without people's knowledge. You can't take people's rights away, and this is our rights and our self-worth, our integrity that people are knocking down. You can't be kicking people while they're down. They need to prop them up and listen to us and have that welfare. People do consultations for them to explain exactly what was going on in this area of the basic card, which it is the intervention. Doesn't matter what colour you paint it, it's still an intervention into people's lives. It's not on.
They said they had this place up at Hay. It was a Japanese prison, and they turned it into an institution for young girls. And you weren't allowed to talk, eyes on the ground. I got raped there, and I was only a girl, and I hate the feeling of when you know that when you try to trust somebody fully and you don't know when that's been broken, and you don't know if it can ever be put back together again. They tried to break me down, but I'll tell you something, they never broke my spirit. I wouldn't let them break my spirit. I said, you can bash the hell out of me, you can do whatever you want. I said, but you're not going to break me down.
I'm from Mounjum, near Derby, WA, up in the far north, Kimberley. We have a big problem of alcohol in the community, and there's a lot of mental problems. Every suicide that we had, they see the ambulance come around and the policeman, they got a person hanging from the tree, and them kids, 8 or 9 years old, see this and they think it's normal. If I had a magic wand, I would make everything right in our community, educate our kids about their culture, about their health. We need to get our people back out to our country. That's if I had a magic wand.
I live at Enrico, Rhode Island, and this is my story. Talk about the MJD. From my two sisters and down to my younger brother, they've got this MJD, and I was the luckiest one that didn't have the MJD. But with my brothers, I never sat next to them and didn't never talk to them about this disease. I only said to them, I wish that I could help you, feed you, but our culture say that now because I'm not allowed to sit next to my brother or even feed him. It's our culture. Only I used to go and grab something for them and gave them someone else that I asked to help them. We used to help each other. We did our best and treated them as a normal person. We never treated them as MJD Clyde, no.
Being a quadriplegic, when I had my accident, jumped into a pool and skimmed the bottom of the pool, and my neck creased back and just slightly pinched on the spinal cord, which swelled up and starved all the oxygen off to the rest of my body. Yeah, just being a fair-skinned Aboriginal, it was hard, especially when people wouldn't recognise that, yeah, Koori. But I've always said it, you don't have to be black to be black. Being of my complexion and, you know, what I look like I've never not thought of myself being not Aboriginal. Like I've always felt like I've fit in. That's a good thing. I always felt that, you know, I belong.
Yeah, as I was getting a drink, he just came in and poured petrol over me and lit me up. I was 6 years old when it happened. My feelings towards him are, well, I do forgive him, you know, because what I've been through made me who I am today. Because I'm just Aboriginal myself, we're all the kind of people that, you know, like to stick together and no matter what happens.
Didn't accept the fact that I was deaf because I wanted to be like a hearing person, something fitting with their world. I didn't know where I should be fit. Mum never told me about my nationality until I was 14, and I asked her, why didn't you tell me this before? She said, because you're deaf and you wouldn't be able to understand. But then when I met my dad when I was at age 21, he said, Joe, you should be proud. You're an Aboriginal woman and you're deaf, and that's for who you are. Shouldn't change. Even now, my dream, and I have a vision to help young deaf Aboriginal kids to achieve in life.
Being an Aboriginal, I think, gives it a great deal of pride and a sense of purpose as well. And so a lot of the work I do is going out into the community and talking with people, whether it be school groups or senior citizens, making those connections in the first place and showing, well, yes, you know, there are a lot of good, strong Aboriginal people around. They've got their head in the right place and they can not only have a good in-depth understanding of the past, but also looking forward into the future as well, to seeing, well, there are brighter tomorrows. And as a collective group, that we can, you know, change the attitude of people to our kids, grandchildren, our nephews and nieces, to give them a better opportunity at life than we had, I suppose. So that's important.
To play and I like to be Aboriginal person. But the moment feel happy, I can enjoy.
I am the grandmother of Hudson. It was not right that our little children were growing up in this environment who are living their lives with unique and complex needs as a result of alcohol exposure in utero. So in 2007, the women got together and made a strong and final decision that we would apply for alcohol restrictions in our community. We want our people to know that this is their community, that this community cares about them, and that we are prepared to make hard decisions and stand up.
But Aboriginal communities, they have this thing too, that's been talked about on TV about who's black and who's blacker, who's whiter than that. Oh, I can get a taxi, you can't. Oh, come on, stop it. That's just like kids working out. You've got 3 bits of candy and I've only got 2. Stop it. It's about what you do with your life. If you identify as Aboriginal, that's it. Why do you have to go and debate it? Why do you have to have a debate? Where does it get them? You get somebody opposing you, you have a debate, then you get in an argument, and you're back to square one. It doesn't stop anything. I don't know.
How many Paralympics I've been to? I played in 5. My passport was, back in 1960, was an honorary English passport. They could tell you how many sheep, they could tell you how many cattle, but they couldn't tell you how many Aboriginal people were, because we weren't voted. We didn't get our rights till 1967, and that's a fact, yeah.
I've been a foster parent for 28 and a bit years, and I'm just taking care of my ex-sister-in-law's 3 daughters. So Penny is cerebral palsy. I looked at every aspect of what I can do for them before I took them. So within my tribe, I am their mother because I'm of the same generation as their mother, and that means the world to me. So just teaching them to be strong black women is my goal in life, to be a successful parent. I've always thought people look at the disability rather than the ability, and I want to totally explore and help Penny with her abilities so she can live a full life and never be looked at as a disabled person. I went into fostering because my dad's elder sister was of the stolen generation and we never could find her. So I promised myself I'd never have another child in the stolen generation.
I got into filmmaking and video making, and I was one of the founders of Metro Screen, and way back in about 40 years ago, and there was nothing around at that time for Aboriginal people to be involved in the arts. I was able to set up the Aboriginal Disability Network. I got the SBS Aboriginal radio program up and running, the Aboriginal Radio Network, and SBS's Aboriginal unit. Well, I set that one up. I've done so many things, and my whole life it's been reacting to needs. Yeah, that was what it was all about, helping other people and creating change.
I am Kui inside my blood, in my body. I am so proud because I'm living in town. It was called Spirit Land. And it was called Culture, Freedom, Kindly, Passionate. It was called Spirit Land. I done really, really well with my family. I done really, really well my relationship against Kui people.
I've got my daughter who was diagnosed with cerebral palsy since birth, and my boy is 13 years old. He just returned back from the boarding school because he was too homesick. He was elected to go to Brisbane Boys College. He said to me, "Mom, don't you leave me here. I gotta go back home." So if there was someone here to look after my girl for me, I would have stayed behind for my son to get a better education and to also understand what it's like outside of here. There's a big world out there.
I'm from Jordan. Yeah, I went to prison the rest of my life. Been there. been done 10 years of my life.
It was alleged and he was charged with the sexual abuse of 2 girls, and because he had an intellectual disability, he was found unfit to plead, and therefore the charges were never ever put before a court or assessed. In the last few years, I got him reassessed by a forensic psychologist, and that forensic psychologist found out, said he was fit to plead. The Department of Public Prosecutions refused to bring the charges again and re-indict him because the girls were saying quite clearly that nothing ever happened. He has not been able to have his day in court.
No, I'm not free. I out of prison, but I'm not free yet.
Yeah, on year 2000, when I was really sick, I was in the hospital, diabetic and kidney problem. 8 months in the hospital. I didn't know that I was really sick. Then I went to renal, and I'm all right here. And I come to Purple House. I come here, sit down and talk about my kidney, that I'm feeling sick and sometimes good. I'm happy with the kidney I got. I'm happy. I'm all right, saying like that. I done a painting in town courthouse. It's on the floor where everyone sees it.
Well, I'm from Bayugal, where the asbestos mine is. Weekends we used to be up in the mines, play with the asbestos, the dust and whatever. Problem I've got now is my lungs. I can't breathe. I've only got a quarter of a lung on the left-hand side. I'm on oxygen day and night, 24 hours. The thing is, because we're Aboriginals, I feel that we are left out of everything. Any doctors doesn't want to recognise it. I have these little cries every day, so it doesn't, I do it every day.
My son walked out the front of this property when the police saw him cross the road. Now, one of the eyewitnesses made the comment in the police report that the vehicle, when they spotted young Rex, that they swerved and made a beeline for him to run him over. After they've run him over, from eyewitness accounts, he was left on the road for something like 20 to 30 minutes before any medical aid was given to him. You can't say that the incident has not brought on any forms of disability. He's got a physical one, he's got a psychological and mental disability. Policing like this cannot continually happen. Somewhere there's got to be give and take, and the only give and take right now is our lives, our children, our people whose lives are expendable.
Just because we're black, they look at us as one, and we don't see it. We got our own areas to abide by the laws. With us, we've been trained as, to speak the English. They can't talk our languages, Walbury or any other language that is there. We can speak fluently. They can't. We can speak fluent in our language and fluent in theirs. They don't understand. The white world has just come like a big rock and rolled us over. And we're trying to say, no, don't you do roll us over, because we are who we are, and the trees and everything that are around us are connected to us.
I was raised to think and act white, which has been a hard thing to come up against and change in my life. I am a black man. I'm an Indigenous Australian. I'm an Aboriginal. I'm a native. I think with my head and my heart simultaneously, as we all do. We live and dream the land. Being raised to think and act white and be white, you might think, how did they do that? Well, I used to ask my mother's mother if I was Aboriginal, if I was dark, if I was black. She used to say, no, you've just got a suntan. My mother used to give me the same answer, but I didn't stop searching. Every opportunity I got, I spoke to people who might have even known my dad, and I found out who I was.
I was diagnosed by Fred Hollows, and he told me that I was had a form of macular degeneration, which meant that my eyesight would gradually be lost. It almost tore the family apart, in fact. I realised I had an obligation and a responsibility to my family. I decided it was up to me. That's when I say losing my sight gave me vision, gave me vision for the future. I saw everything in a different perspective, literally a different perspective. There's a lot of ignorance out there from other people who think because you've got a disability, you haven't got ability. Don't put that dis in front of my ability.
My name's Tyrone. My mum, well, I call her mum, but she used to be my auntie, but now she's my mum. I have to call her mum because my little sister will call her auntie, so I have to call her mum. I help her and I put nappies on Daniela, my little sister. I carry some shopping all the way home for my mum, and it's really good and awesome. I really like it, and sometimes I tidy up the house by myself and I help, and it's really awesome. I really like my life.
I get teased a lot. I want to grow up to help other people because they might go through the same thing I had.
Roseanne is part of the forgotten generation who are born with fetal alcohol-related brain damage. Her behaviours inevitably brought her in contact with the criminal justice system. Found unfit to plead and unconvicted of any offences, she waits in prison until the time when proper disability care can be provided. She is one of the lucky ones. The facility in which she is held has a supportive Aboriginal social worker who has dedicated their time to improve Roseanne's physical and emotional health. Although this is a positive, this assistance should be provided outside the prison system, not within it.